welcome to this edition of Coming Home, Life After Semester at Sea. My name is Dee Colombini. I was one of the counselors on Voyage 134. With me today is ASL Interpreter Araya Williams, and our special guest today is Meron Siyoum. If you are new to our series, Semester at Sea, or SAS, is a semester-long study abroad program that takes place on a ship with students, faculty, and staff. The classes actually take place at sea and in ports as we travel around the world. Voyage 134 traveled to 10 different countries as we sailed from Europe to China. The idea for the series came about after we realized that readjusting to life can be quite a process after coming home. It's been several months since Voyage 134 ended, and we wanted to talk with what reentry has been like for some of our fellow voyagers. So, Meron, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Can you tell us a little bit, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what your role was like and what life was like on the ship for you?
Yes. Hi, well, my name is Meron. I was a senior on Voyage 134, and so it was my final semester, and I got to graduate on the ship. That was really exciting, but my role, I was just a student. I was just there to take in as much as I could, and I also started a portfolio builders club so I can gather all the creatives on the ship, and we can try to do some creative photo shoots and that kind of thing together. I also participated in the Solia dialogue facilitation group. And so that was really cool, just learning how to facilitate larger conversations. And I feel like I did grow a lot because of those two things. Yeah, just a student and just trying to enjoy the program for as much as I could.
Could you tell us a little bit about what the Dialogue Facilitator program was?
Yes. So it was a program that a couple of us participated in Portugal. It was a 3-day training where we got to be certified in as like a dialogue facilitator. And so for 3 days, we kind of learned different techniques on how to kind of listen to larger groups and facilitate conversations, oftentimes like tough conversations. Just about anything. And so we got to do it a couple times on the ship, just for practice, but also just to, actually put our skills to use. It was such a unique program because you got either like UN certified for the program, and so that was really cool. Just being able to like sit through that training and then see actually put to work what you learned on the ship and get that certification to show it.
That's amazing. And you get to practice it with people. Great.
Yes, you cut out a little bit. What'd you say?
That's amazing. That's wonderful that you got
Yeah.
to practice on the ship with people from all over the world on the ship.
Yes, and we got to practice with a lot of different like topics, and so it was something that I really felt like I grew as an individual because of that program.
Great. You mentioned something else that you just kind of did on your own.
Yes, yeah, the Portfolio Builders Club.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was so it was like the second day on the ship, and it was when we had our activities fair, and they asked if there was anything that anyone wanted to pitch, and I thought it would be cool to start a club for creatives. Like, doesn't matter if you were a makeup artist or a photographer, videographer, just to come together and try to do photo shoots or just like projects together. And so throughout the semester, we were able to meet a couple of times and do some themed photo shoots. We did a Fight Club themed photo shoot, a La La Land themed photo shoot, and just like being able to share our work and like what our passions are together.
That sounds super fun.
There were so many talented people on the ship, and I'm so glad that we were able to like see some of that work.
Yeah, there was so much going on every day. It was hard to keep up. I mean, I think people could be busy around the clock if they wanted to be with all the
Oh yeah.
student-led things, which was really amazing. That was, I think, more special than any of the programming that we could have developed.
Mhm.
So tell us, what do you miss most about Semester at Sea?
Hmm. I feel like I've gotten that question so many times, and I sometimes feel like my answer changes, but,
Mhm.
I think one thing that does stay consistent, I feel like we all probably feel the same about, is the community that we had on the ship, and I guess when you're on the ship or even when you're in port, there were so many opportunities to try something new without even having to go out of your way, And so I think I missed that aspect, or like bumping into someone new on the ship constantly and being surrounded by so much community. At first, it was like the first couple of weeks, it was so like intimidating because you didn't really know anyone. But like as you started to form your friend groups and started to like talking to people, you start to see all the similarities, and people start to push you out of your comfort zone. And I really do miss that.
And the connections, community that gets formed, and just,
Yeah.
how hard that would be. You're in a brand new place. We're not at our home institutions. We're on
Hmm.
a ship, as if we were all first years, new roommates, new
Yeah.
living spaces, um, a little bit of a trial, right? What a test.
Hmm.
And then to get really familiar and to know that everybody, we're there to support each other. And it's just, you see the familiar faces, and it just starts to feel really, really supportive and comfortable.
It really did. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about some of your favorite memories.
Hmm. Um, I think first favorite memory, honestly, it's like the smaller moments, but it's like being able to bond with my roommate and all of her friends, and them just constantly coming into our room, like in and out. I feel like our room was definitely like a hub for just people to stop by. And so we leave the door open and like people would come and go. And so being able to like sit in my room and kind of get that experience was really sweet because I graduated high school in 2020. So I didn't really get like a typical first year experience. And so in a way, I felt like this was my redo. Like I finally got to experience what it was like to have a roommate and like just have friends come and go. And so I think that was honestly one of my some of my favorite memories.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. That it is true that sometimes this is the first experience for people, and COVID-19 was really disruptive for people, and especially some from folks who had milestones and graduations and things that they didn't get to do and experience. Yeah, that's a very good point. And I'm glad you got that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, you got it.
It felt so good. It was so fun just to have people come and go like that. But really grateful for the program.
Were there any ports that really stood out to you as something that you really, really loved? Some of your favorites?
Yes, I would have to say Vietnam and South Africa were some of my favorite
Mm.
ports. Also Hong Kong. I think with going into Cape Town, it's just something that I never thought like I would ever see myself going to. And so like the second we pulled into the port, I was like, wait, like I'm here, it's happening. And I think that's when it kind of clicked for me that I guess I'm not constrained to just like Colorado or like to the US. Like I can really traveling can be something I do even outside of semester at sea. And so I think Cape Town was my favorite because of that. And then also Vietnam, because both of these places just felt like home to me. Like going in, I felt like the culture felt very familiar to me somehow, and the food and just like the interactions that I was able to have in port felt really, really sweet. And um, both those places just like I want to go back, and I'm so glad I got to experience both those places because I don't think I would have done it. Um, I would have been to those places if it wasn't for semester at sea.
Right, right. So maybe they wouldn't have been on your top of your list.
Yes,
And now that we know,
I want to go back. Yeah.
yeah, they both seem, like you said, familiar and magical at the same time, and just very welcoming. Both of
Hmm.
those places were really, really great. So now that you're back and and are you back at CSU in town? You've graduated? So did you go back to a new place?
Yes. So I graduated and then I did some traveling and I came back home to my hometown, which is Aurora. It's like an hour, 30 minutes away from Fort Collins.
Okay,
And so I'm back here, just trying to figure out what's next for me.
nice. What have been some of the biggest struggles with returning? We've heard people say like exhaustion or community or just excitement. So, like, how has it been for you trying to reintegrate and in this re-entry process?
Yes. I think what's been hardest for me, was also I think it's the fact that I came back from semester at sea, such a life-changing experience, but I also graduated, and I
Mm.
no longer have my apartment. I'm not in my college town with all my friends anymore. There was a halt in basically I had a life before semester at sea, and this life after semester at sea is completely different. And so, I think getting adjusted to that was tough. and also after seeing so much of the world, I think the plans that I had for myself before semester at sea has drastically changed just because I know that I was limiting myself in my opportunities because I've seen so much and I understand that I can do so much now. And as an overthinker, I think that I took a lot of time to just like pause and try to figure out what I wanted for myself after the program because I don't think I aligned myself with a lot of the things that I wanted to do before the program.
Well, that's wondering if that was a bit of a surprise for you.
I think it definitely was. It didn't come naturally. It took a couple weeks, couple months as I was just like trying to get adjusted to this life. And I realized, oh, like there's just so much more that I can do now. Like I don't have to limit myself to just Colorado because I was born and raised here. Like I can look
Mhm.
abroad, I can look in different states and that kind of thing. And I always thought about that beforehand, but now the world feels more tangible. And it's like these possible, like it's such a beautiful feeling and it's a gift. But as an overthinker, I think I hyper fixated on it for a really long time.
Okay, the door is open.
Yes.
So if you had to give some advice or suggestions to other voyagers on how they might manage reentry or coming back, what might you suggest to them?
Um, I would say that the curiosity you had on the voyage should pour into your life after semester at sea. And so it's like small things that I started to do, but my goal is to try something new every single day, whether that's a new food, new hairstyle, or just anything small or anything big. Just constantly trying to say yes, because that's what I feel like semester at sea was about for me. And so I just implemented it into my daily trackers. Like I want to be able to say that I did something new. And I think doing that will help you realize that like you don't need to be on a ship or you don't need to be traveling to explore much of the world. Like you can be a tourist in your own city, in your own state, and so that's the advice I'd give.
I love that. I also hear that you're also doing a daily tracking, that somehow you're checking in with yourself every day.
I am. I You can ask anyone on the voyage. I would always tell everyone to journal because I feel like it's such a great way to being connected to yourself. But I started a daily tracker where I have like 7 things that I try to do every single day. And so it's like expanding my mind, doing something creative, trying to work out and stay healthy, and like having prayer time for myself. And trying new things is also one of them.
I think that'll be really helpful for people to hear. Those are wonderful ideas.
Thank you. It's definitely helped, like, pull myself out of, like, like, the slump that I was in for a while.
I think there is a little bit of maybe a disappointment when we get back after living on semester at sea, and like you said, all the newness and the excitement and the magic that comes with it, and
Mhm.
also kind of the structure and being busy, and then to come back and things are kind of quiet. And for you, what a huge shift! Um,
Yeah.
yeah, what a complete shift. So, um, with the little bit of time we have left, um, and just getting to know you for the first time, uh, I've heard some very creative uh, self-care things and creative things in terms of what you developed on the ship. Can you tell us a little bit more? I know that you have used creative expression in other ways. Would you mind sharing a little bit about that? And I'm wondering
Yeah.
if it has a role in your reentry.
Um, I Being creative definitely does have a role in my reentry and just my day-to-day life. I think I didn't see it as, like, a creative hobby before, but I've always been a journaler. I've always journaled, and so the last 2 years, I have, like, just daily or just, like, maybe weekly journals about what I've been going through, which has been, fun to look back at, and I think
Mhm.
looking back at those helped me realize that, like, I do enjoy writing, and I can make this a creative, like, hobby, or I can share them, um, and, like, inspire other people in that way. And so one of my friends on the ship, her name is Farron, she has a website. She has always just kept her writing on there, but she wanted to try to add another author just to see how that would work. And so she pitched the idea to me, and I was so scared at first. But we decided that I'd do a piece on transition periods, and I was able to write that and share it. And I got so many different responses from people like on semester at sea or just like off the ship that like everyone's going through the same thing. And it was so sweet to be so vulnerable with my and then be creative with it and have such a great response. And so creativity to me has been a way for me to like kind of pull myself out of the slump that I've been in. And it's been so great to like either be drawing or journaling and being able to share that with other people.
I absolutely love that. Thank you for telling us about that. And I would love it if you could let us know how to find these writings of yours and these things.
Yes. I now am thinking about I have a Medium account, but the piece that I did for Farron is on her website. It's called ASA. It's ESA media, and I can like link it if that would help. But I have one piece on there, and I have a Medium account, but I'm trying to decide on like where I should put more writing or like what website to use for that. And so I don't have anything right now, but those two are where some of them are.
Wonderful. And we'll see if we can get them linked
Okay.
when this comes out. That's just fantastic. Anything else that you would like to add or share before we wrap things up today?
Mm, I think the only thing I'd say is like um, the curiosity thing. Like, don't for anyone returning and stepping back into their life, like just always be curious. And I feel like that will help you bring all the things you learned for semester at sea into the rest of your life. And so, stay curious forever. And that's about it.
Great advice. So thank you so much. It was really fun and awesome to meet you and talk with you today. Thank you for taking the time.
Of course, this was great. Thank you so much.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you. You too.
Yes. Okay, that's